So you decided to venture into the world of beekeeping. You've got your gear, and you got the love of tiny winged things, but now you need to build them a home. The question arises, where do I put the hive? Location, location, location. We can get a hint by looking at natural hive construction and placement, but it isn't an all-encompassing answer, especially for people who are urban beekeeping. Let's explore the best practices for beehive placement. Figuring out the best beehive placement requires a look at your available space and a general understanding of what bees need. When it comes to hive placement, nature's choices don't always translate well with backyard beehives, as it provides less room and more challenges due to factors like environmental damage, predators, and noise levels are all things to consider when choosing your location for your bees. Setting up a thriving hive isn't just about access to resources, but understanding that bees are living things and there's an element of predictable randomness to them. For beekeepers, the placement of beehives need to facilitate access to a hive for ease of working with structures, collecting honey, hive inspection, and other tasks. It's easy to forget how unwieldy equipment can be when working in restricted places until it's too late, and it can be quite a hassle to move everything after the fact. Your working space needs to fit you and whatever equipment you use with a good turning radius. Nobody wants to knock into a hive when turning and lifting supers and frames. 3 to 5 feet between each hive and any object around a hive makes it easier to work with. This helps preventing climbing mammals from leaping to the hive. The size of your hive also comes into play, but they are expandable and easier to adjust as you gain a footing on beekeeping. 8-frame hives are lighter and more similar to a bee's natural habitat, while a 10-frame is great for larger scale beekeeping and has more options for obscure equipment and second-hand purchasing options as well. You can go more in depth on the pros and cons of 10 and 8-frame hives with the video in the description. Setting up a thriving hive means not only access to resources, but you still want to consider the health of your bees and their access to safe food and water sources. This means access to resources free of pesticides, primarily the water source. The water source needs to be within a 100 feet range from the hive, with the closest source becoming the primary source of water. If you build a reservoir or create puddles, know that adding fragrances such as tea or aromatic oils helps bees locate their source initially, but bees prefer dirty water which is rich in nutrients and salts to supplement their diet, mainly sodium and magnesium throughout the year, while calcium and potassium are supplied seasonally. Water is needed for consumption, mating, and temperature control, making it vital to the health of the beehive. Bee colonies grow to a size that accommodates their food supply. You don't need a field of clover to raise bees, but you also can't expect a thriving hive if you live in a concrete block with no foliage for miles. Bees like to forage and will travel some distance to get what they need. However, they do better when the commute is shorter and the resources are more plentiful. Accommodating bees with a thoughtful, well-rounded garden with plants native to your region throughout the spring, summer, and fall will make a world of a difference for your little pollinators. You want to consider reducing the risks to the hive from environmental conditions. Bees are resourceful and have ways of protecting themselves, but that comes at a cost of additional honey consumption and stress. Safe bees thrive while stressed bees run the risk of absconding from their hive. The top priority for a beehive's location is a level, stable area for the hive to sit. As the season peaks, the weight of the hive will also lean to the hive if it's lopsided enough. Areas with harsh winds also may need anchors or baffles to keep the hive down, with natural windbreaks like an abundance of trees and hedges, or even a fence helping the hive from toppling over. A toppled over hive is an absolute nightmare to deal with, so it's best to avoid it if you can. Raising the hive off the ground and away from direct vertical contact helps the hive not only avoid predators, but prevent water damage during minor flooding. Predators, like ants, mice, and other unsavory types, have a much harder time getting into elevated hives. Speaking of water damage, hives need to be kept dry. Entrances should be tapered to allow access from below. Slanted hives, trees, or other barriers keep water from seeping into a hive, preventing mold from growing. Bees need to warm up and get moving. Eastern and southern exposures help to warm up the hive early in the day. That said, southern exposures during the summer can mean bees using more water to cool their hives. The more they spend cooling, the less time they spend on other tasks. You want a shade that covers the hive during hotter times of the day. Natural shade sources like deciduous trees are usually preferable. They make excellent shade as they provide more shade in the summer and less in the winter when they need sunlight the most. The last and greatest threat to your hive is none other than people. Your bees see an unsuspecting 6'2" pedestrian weighing in at 240 pounds from your hometown of Massachusetts, and your bees are on the defensive. They go up for the first sting and ouch. That's gonna leave a mark. Getting stung is no fun and can lead you to getting in trouble if it happens enough. To keep that from becoming a regular occurrence, placing privacy fences that are 8 through 10 feet can keep bees from seeing pedestrians and going on the defensive. Keep entrances pointed away from walkways and side streets so the bees spend less time heading towards people and more time heading towards pollen and water. Persistent loud noise creates a problem, adding additional stress. Even some noise frequencies places bees in a shocked state. Try to place hives away from frequent areas of known noise. This includes being away from the street or on the opposite side of the yard from the household. Choosing the right place for your beehive is essential if you want your colonies of bees to thrive. With the proper considerations of the factors like resources and protection from the environment, you have the right understanding to create a safe environment for your bees. Stay safe, drink plenty of water, and remember to be happy.